that same day, when Jesus had appeared to Mary Magdalene, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "Why were you discussing with each other while you walked along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleophas, answered, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have taken place there in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" They replied, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and leaders handed him over to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, it is now the 3rd day since these things took place. Moreover, some women of our group astounded us. They were at the tomb early this morning, and when they did not find his body there, they came back and told us they had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the woman had said, but they did not see him." Then he said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have declared. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" And then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them the things about himself in all the scriptures. As they came near to the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening and the day is nearly over." So he went in to stay with them. Then, while he was at table with them, he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scripture to us?" That same hour, they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 with their companions gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed, and he has appeared to Simon." And then they told them what had happened on the road, and how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Have you ever been at a place in life where everything was just right? Your family is healthy. If you have children, they are happy. If you have in-laws, they are either supportive or they travel a lot. Either will work. Your work is meaningful, productive, and it pays well. Your friends are available, insightful, caring. Your church is a place where you are known, you are loved, and you know most of the hymns that are sung. It does not happen much in life, but there are times when life seems to settle in to the plain of contentment. You are not passing through the dark valley of the shadow of death, nor are you on the mountaintop of ecstasy, like when you first fell in love, or graduated, or got a new job. Your life is just deliciously ordinary, and you sleep well at night. Oh, everything is imperfect, but it is well enough, and you would prefer to leave well enough alone. Well, you may want to take a photograph, because change is on the way. Certainly, this is true for those who call themselves disciples of Jesus. Because Jesus isn't interested in leaving well enough alone. And it is never long before he is once again on the move. That's what the two disciples on the Emmaus Road discovered. Jesus is on the move. And when they began to move away from him, he moved toward them. It is no accident, I think, that we only know the name of one of the men who went for a walk together on that post-resurrection afternoon. I think mentioning only Cleophas and leaving the other name blank was St. Luke's way of allowing us to insert our name into this story. We could even be able to write, Cleophas and I were walking together, trying to figure this whole resurrection business out by ourselves. That's the way we do things. We are fiercely independent people who can look after ourselves very well, thank you very much. We don't need others to watch after us. We don't need people to tell us what to do or even offer us advice. We can go it alone and be just fine. Or so we tell ourselves. But then our names get involved in this story because in trying to go it alone, we become lost. It's no accident, I think, that biblical scholars can't seem to find Emmaus on any maps, be they ancient or modern. St. Luke picked a place that could be God's good metaphor for nowhere. Turning their backs on Jerusalem and Galilee, the two men were walking away from the place where all the resurrection appearances were happening. They were leaving the group that had loved Jesus, lost him, and now was experiencing his presence daily. So the further away they walked, the two hikers were becoming more and more lost, more and more isolated, more and more confused.